And yes, I am actually recording looking at a board. It's incredible but true. So love this board. I got this at Grasshoppers Tournament. It's invitational and it is a piece of art. So here we go. I am going to show you what I do first turn. First turn for Great Britain. I'm going to buy 3 destroyers. I've got some other stuff that I do with America that I believe is a big red flag to Germany. Do not do Sea Lion. I pulled the American fleet into the Atlantic. So this allows me to buy those 3 destroyers and to do number 1, save London. Number 2, save the Atlantic. Number 3, save Moscow. But number 4 is save Egypt. And practically speaking, though, save Egypt and save the Atlantic is the first things we try to do. So here we go. So with that purchase, here's the crazy stuff I do. I do not do Taranto. I do this. I take out this. I take out this transport, and I'm going to bring. Oops, sorry. I'm going to bring the airplane off of Malta and the airplane from Gibraltar into this combat right there. And I'm going to kill that thing. Next, I'm going to pull the transport out of here. I'm going to take a man and artillery from Egypt, out of Egypt, and bring that down to the Horn. I'm going to use those in the invasion of Ethiopia. I'm obviously going to use the guy from Anglo-Egypt, Egyptian Sudan, and the Mech go into that battle. Along with that, we bring our destroyer from India and our cruiser. That transport's going to come in a minute. This destroyer can join the party just because it looks pretty. And those 2 guys will move up to Rhodesia. These guys are going to retreat. The tank going to Transjordan, and the artillery piece falling back to Egypt. 4 defenders there. We're going to bring that tack down here to make the attack in Ethiopia go fast. So we need that thing over. Over here, we're going to put, in the non-combat move, we're going to put artillery and a man onto the ship. We're going to transport them in the non-combat to activate our pro-allied troops in Persia. That'll give us 4 troops altogether in Persia at the end of the turn. So, this, at the end of it, we'll have victory here in Ethiopia. We'll land the plane. Let's take those guys off. Assume that they took out 1, and we got it over with. So let's say it took out 1. Then we're going to land that coming from here. 1, 2, 3. It's going to have to land in Anglo-Egyptian Sudan. We are going to have. Let's see here. So then this is going to be a victory for us, we think. If we had to take someone out, we could take any of those out. Be fine to take out the destroyer. The aircraft carrier would go 1, 2, 3 and support the Russian fleet. And I'm going to take this cruiser and I'm going to send him to support the Russian fleet. If this cruiser is left over off of Gibraltar, he will also go to support the fleet, and send one of those planes from Malta. Will make it onto the craft. The one from Gibraltar is going to have to land there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to bring one of the planes from England down to land on this boat. Yeah. So then we've activated these guys, so we'll have 2 more guys. Got a chip is activated there in Persia, and ready for action the next turn. What that is, I don't know. So, so my purpose. And also planes from India are going to fly over. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. Can't land over neutral. Fly over neutrals. So let's see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to land in British Somaliland, so that we can get them near enough to fight 1, 2, 3 in Egypt if they have to next turn, which we assume they will have to. So we're going to put those in Somaliland, and we are ready for an attack. So let's say we got this huge navy, and yeah, that's my son sleeping. I'm trying to get this done for so long. I'm in this game room, bedroom. So the French fleet has 2 or 3 cruisers, potentially, and two airplanes defending it a 4, aircraft carrier defending it a 2, and a destroyer defending it a 2. Now, if the Italian Navy goes ahead and attacks that, that's fine. That's great. I'd rather him attack me in my strength than me attack him in his strength. And are we going to leave the Med? Not sure. Are we going to stay there and be a thorn in his side? Are the Germans going to send a bunch of planes down there? Not sure. Could be. But we're going to defend and save those French ships. And they're going to take a bunch of ships down with them if they don't survive. And we, of course, have this second, smaller fleet. It's more modest, but it's something. And that's going to go into the Med. So whatever is left over, if the Italians were to attack that, we're assuming it would be a much smaller fleet. That fleet and all these airplanes in the region would be able to help take out. So really, this also nullifies the Italian fleet almost as effectively, perhaps more effectively than Taranto, because we're making him attack us and use our planes will be defending at a 4 instead of his planes. Also, if he takes Egypt, which he could, very likely, we're defending with 4. We take a couple of his guys out, maybe one of his guys out. He lands 4 of those, and we can easily take it back with the forces. We can put 4 pieces onto the boats and get them landing in Egypt next turn. And we can also take the mech, and of course we've got 3 airplanes in the region, 4 airplanes in the region that can hit back as well. So we've got quite a bit of a retake force. I would have also bought a mech for South Africa, and these 2 guys for their supplying. Second turn, I plan on building in Persia, and if he doesn't take Egypt, next turn I would invade. I would push everything into Iraq. Take Iraq. More money. That's giving us a lot more money, and we'll be able to be a rich Great Britain, which usually you lose quite a bit of income. This is a quick grab of $4. I would also want to try, if I can grab, if this up here, if this transport survives, or this one over here survives, I'm going to try to get them down, and I'm going to be the guy trying to get the British to have Brazil, so the British Empire can stay wealthy. So those are just some ideas for England. I know that's going to leave the door kind of open for the capture of India, perhaps if someone does a India crush. But if the entire Japanese fleet and army decide to descend on India, there's nothing you can do about it. So at least with the turn 3 or 4 invasions of India, it's pretty hard to combat. So I figure what we can do in the first 2 turns is really shut down Italy. Then we're going to turn our force with a factory in Persia and then a factory in Iraq, and then we're going to be able to turn the tide, produce some stuff right here, and make a difference. Use our forces and save London, save the Atlantic, save Moscow, save Egypt, and then save India and the Far East. So that's my strat video for turn 1. Now this is something, the great thing about this is a move. These are moves that you can do almost no matter what. Now the stuff up there, I'm just assuming all that's dead, all that hardware off of London, but you can do all this stuff without consulting or reacting. This is all proactive, and you can do this stuff no matter what the German and the Japanese player does. All right, that's Crockett36's turn 1 modified Middle Earth kind of strategy that puts a lot of pieces in this area and makes a big difference. Changes the tide of history in North Africa. Thanks, guys. Out.